Hello and welcome to the first ever, and possibly even the last, video RAWRlog for RAWRtacular.com. Those of you who probably just clicked on this at random on YouTube, which I know can happen, my name is Mark, otherwise known as RAWR, from the comic portal RAWRtacular, which hosts my manga-like weekly webcomics, Back Office and Bat in the Art. And yeah, I just wanted to try this out since it's a lot harder to write a blog than I originally thought when I started this off a few years ago. It's like I'd start off a blog entry, I'd try and put down my thoughts, and well, eventually I'd just give up and end up not posting anything. So it's been probably about 4 or 5 months since the last time I've written anything in the RAWRlog, and anything that was of any use, frankly. And it's quite important as a webcomic artist for me to write out what I'm doing and try and give myself a bit of a, a human connection to what I'm doing. And, I am rambling here because I'm kind of extremely nervous on account that I don't know, you'd think you'd have stage fright of the fact that you might deal with a few hundred people, but I know my readership is usually only a few dozen people, so I shouldn't really be all that nervous about putting myself out there, but I am kind of, and it's, I don't know whether it's showing or if it's actually, if it's just me. It's probably just me. It's very likely. I don't know how to cut this, so I'm not going to, and you are very welcome to laugh at my nervousness at the beginning, and I certainly will for about a minute and then never see this video again, but that's just me. I'd like to actually just talk about a few things that have been happening recently, which I'm kind of excited about, and there's a few things happening that that are kind of milestones, and it's kind of weird to think about them, but I think it's easier to say this than to write it down. Last Monday, or this Monday in particular, was the very last page of the Q-matic story on Back Office, my longest running webcomic. This has been going on forever. I wanted to write a really quick kind of plot for Back Office, so I didn't have to think about new stories every single week, which was getting kind of difficult back when I started off the webcomic. And it wasn't supposed to go further than, I think, 4 or 5 months, and it ended up lasting 2 years, and it finally ended on Monday, and it's a bit of a relief because I was getting a little afraid that people were getting sick of my comic, and I wanted to also to just get to a new story and do something else with this idea, because the idea for Back Office was an office comedy, kind of like Dilbert, but with a manga twist and some of my own experiences thrown in, working in call centers and for the telecoms industry. And I haven't been doing that for a while, and I wanted to go back to that. So this week I've gone back to doing a new story, which is the office party thread. I don't know if you can, yeah, I've posted this on YouTube already, so some people have already seen it. It's a new story altogether. It's playing on the whole thing about office parties. There's a lot of things to make fun of there, a lot of plot ideas I'm going to work with, and unfortunately this one is also going to be a parody of the Q-matic story was a Tron parody. This one will also be a parody of something, but I'm going to try and keep it a bit more about office humour, or at least I'm going to try. So that's that. Bat in the Art continues. There's nothing much to say about this except that I'm still remaking a lot of older chapters I made back in 2006, 2007. I had originally intended to stop remaking stuff when I reached Chapter 4, because Chapter 4 was my first attempt to clean up my art, and I thought I'll follow what I'm doing in Chapter 4 and bring it all the way through the series, even back to Chapters 1, 2 and 3, and 3 I'm doing now. Looking at the art now, I think I might have to redraw everything right up to my last new page, which is Chapter 6. I did that about 2 years ago, and a lot of stuff has happened in those 2 years, so I might have to redraw the whole thing. I was hoping, since Chapter 4 and 5 were already drawn, I could increase the rate of Bat in the Art updates to twice a week, but that's not going to happen. I'm going to stick to the once a week schedule because my real life doesn't allow me to have enough time for that, unfortunately. But that's how it is with webcomics. You have to balance your real life with your comics, and it's a tricky scheduling thing. I think anyone who has a really time-consuming hobby will know exactly what this is like. If you're doing a webcomic yourself, you know this. You know that it's very hard to separate your comic life, your work life, and your personal life. These things are going to intermingle, and the comic life often becomes the lesser priority. And that's how it is. That's how it really should be. But it can't be avoided. You have to give time for life. That's important. But there's that anyway with Bat in the Art. I'm very excited about where it's going to go, because as I try new tricks with the artwork, some things I couldn't do back in 2006 and 2007, I can do now, and I'm really excited about to see what we can do here. Another thing, before I run out of time, because I really don't know if I'm allowed to do more than 10 minutes. I know that YouTube increased the capacity on what you're allowed to do, but I'm not going to chance it. I'm going to try and get this in 10 minutes so I don't waste this time. The next thing I want to bring up is this is really this isn't much about promotion, as it's fun to do, and I love this kind of thing. A long while ago, I became Facebook friends with a manga artist by the name of Yazawa, and she's been very cool. She's given us a lot of advice. We've had some kind of experimental web lessons across the world. Like myself and a couple of other manga fans have joined in a Google Plus Hangout with her, and she's actually taught us a lesson that she's planning to do for international students. And as well as that, she's been sharing her whole creation process, which has helped me really a lot. I've learned so much from just seeing what she does. And she's also extremely friendly and cool, and case in point, she invited a lot of us to collaborate in a exhibition project called Coffee Party, which she invited all of us to submit a small piece of art, just something for her wall. She's doing this with another French artist, and I can't remember the name right now because of the pressure, but they're working together, and this is going at the International Manga Festival that'll be in Tokyo next week. So I'm a bit excited about that. I'm going to have maybe my own piece of work displaying in Tokyo, which is just, well, that's kind of a dream for anyone who wants to do manga work, is to have their stuff appearing in Japan itself, but more to the point actually getting published. That's something else. In addition to doing a little piece of artwork for the wall, we've also contributed a sort of, I know it's kind of like a signature page in the convention manga that she's publishing. The very last page, we all did a caricature of one or both of the featured characters, which are named Croissant and Eclair. I drew the Eclair character, and it turned out more or less what I hoped it would. I'm a little nervous to see my own work go into another person's book like this, and I'm always feeling that I've failed them somehow. But I think everything turned out okay. All the other contributors have thrown in some really good stuff, really amazing work, and it's an honor to be included in such a community project. I love collaboration work, and I'm really excited to see what happens at this. It's the International Manga Festival in Tokyo next week, to see what reaction there is to the coffee party, and just to see it is really great. I wish I could be there in person, but I'm going to settle for seeing pictures, because it's going to be great to see, I think. I think I really should wrap this up now before I run out of material, but also before I reach 10 minutes, because I'm getting there very close. I'm going to try and do more of these video RAWRlogs whenever I can. I may not be able to do it as often as I've always promised with the text-based RAWRlog once a week. I'm going to try for once a month and do all my news and roundup this way. And hopefully you like it this way better. Please tell me if you don't. I will stop if you don't like it. And yeah, I just enjoy the RAWRtacular comics by all means. Please have fun with them, and any comments or input is always welcome. So that's all for now, and thank you for listening to my stupid ramblings, and good night.